Olivia, gazing out of her window for the hoped-for return of Orsino's page, was sadder than her black. For the scorn of one loved was more painful by far than a brother's decease. "Where's Malvolio?" she asked. "He is sad and civil, and suits well for a servant with my fortunes." "He's coming, madame," said Maria, "but in a very strange manner." The solemn steward had obeyed the letter to the very letter, and his cross-gartered legs were as yellow as primroses, and he smiled. "How now, Malvolio?" exclaimed Olivia, not a little surprised. "Sweet lady, ho-ho," ventured Malvolio, persevering with his smile, even though his legs were as painful as garters were too tight. He winked at the Countess, kissed his fingers at her, and smirked with all his teeth. Maria turned away. Her shoulders were shaking with an inward laughter. "Why, how dost thou, man?" demanded Olivia angrily. "What is the matter with thee?" Malvolio, with a saucy twinkle of his feet, which gave him some discomfort and caused him to rub his constricted legs, made answer with an obscure reference to the letter he had received. The Countess, not understanding, became worried about him. "Wilt thou go to bed, Malvolio?" she suggested kindly. "To bed?" cried Malvolio, ambitious leaping within him. "Aye, sweetheart, and I'll come to thee." He held out his arms. For one reason or another, the Countess did not fly into his embrace. He pursued the matter with further references to the letter, but before he could get his mistress to confess her love, they were interrupted with the news that the Duke's messenger had returned and was awaiting the Countess's pleasure. "I'll come to him," said Olivia quickly, and bade Maria to fetch Sir Toby to look after her poor steward, who, she felt, had lost his wits. Malvolio alone was not displeased with the way things had gone. Everything the Countess had said fitted, or could be made to fit, within his high expectations. The very fact that she had asked for her kinsman, Sir Toby, to attend him, proved that she held him in the highest regard. Sir Toby came, and Malvolio was condescending with him. After all, he would soon be master of the house. Then Sir Toby and his drunken companions would be put in their proper place. "Go hang yourselves all," he said contemptuously to his mistress's uncle, her maid, and a servant by the name of Fabian, for whom he had a particular dislike. "You are idle, shallow things. I am not of your element. You shall know more hereafter." "Come, we'll have him in a dark room and bound," said Sir Toby when the steward had limped and stalked away. Now that the Countess thought that Malvolio was mad, he should be treated as such. He had aspired to love, and was not love madness? Viola's audience with Olivia had been brief. Again the Countess had begged for love, and again it had been refused. "Well, come again tomorrow," had pleaded the distracted lady. Viola sighed and left, only to be accosted at the mansion's gate by the lady's portly uncle and a servant whose looks were grave. "Gentleman, God save thee," said Sir Toby with much solemnity. Sir Andrew's challenge to the page had been written so foolishly that it would have provoked more laughter than fear, so Sir Toby had decided to deliver the challenge by word of mouth. Quietly he advised the page to look to his defense, for he had offended a very dangerous person. You mistake, sir," stammered Viola, growing pale. I am sure no man hath any quarrel to me." "You find it otherwise, I assure you," said Sir Toby grimly, and went on to present so fearsome a picture of the person who desired satisfaction that Viola shook with terror. "I will return again to the house," cried Viola, preferring by far to face a lovesick woman than an angry man, "and desire some conduct of the lady." But it was not to be, and Sir Toby, leaving the trembling Viola in charge of Fabian, went to fetch her deadly adversary, Sir Andrew Aguecheek. "Why, man, he is a very devil," confided Sir Toby to Sir Andrew when he found him. "Pox on it," cried Sir Andrew, turning paler than his linen. "I'll not meddle with him." "Aye," agreed Sir Toby, "but he will not now be pacified. Fabian can scarcely hold him yonder." This was very true, as Fabian was having the utmost difficulty in keeping Viola from bolting for her life. "There's no remedy, sir," called out Sir Toby, coming out of the mansion and dragging Sir Andrew after him. "He will fight with you for oath's sake." "Pray God defend me," wailed Viola, struggling in the grip of Fabian. even as Sir Andrew tugged at Sir Toby. "A little thing would make me tell them how much I lack of a man." But the seconds were restless, and the two shaking heroes were propelled towards one another on feet that scarcely touched the ground. "I do assure you 'tis against my will," sobbed Viola, as if Sir Andrew might have supposed it to be otherwise, and drew her sword. Sir Andrew, with no more enthusiasm, drew his, and there they stood, propped up by their seconds, with their blades waving like grass in the wind. "Put up your sword. If this young gentleman have done offence, I take the fault on me." A gentleman, passing by the mansion's gate, had seen the imminent battle and had brought his own sword to halt it. It was Antonio. He had been searching for Sebastian, and now believed that he had found him and in danger of his life. But before more could be done, a party of the Duke's officers came by. At once, Antonio was recognized and arrested as the Duke's enemy. "This comes with seeking you," said Antonio somewhat bitterly to Viola, and asked for the return of his purse. "I must entreat of you some of that money," repeated Antonio, as Viola showed no sign of understanding him. "What money, sir?" wondered Viola. What oopsies. Sorry, guys. "What money, sir?" wondered Viola. "Oh, will you deny me now?" demanded Antonio, amazed that the youth he had befriended should prove to be so shameless a villain. He reminded the youth of the kindnesses he had done him. "I know of none," protested Viola, her confusion increasing. "Oh, heavens themselves!" cried out Antonio, more distressed by the youth's ingratitude than by the officers who held him by the arms. "Come, sir, I pray you go," commanded one of the captors. But before they dragged him away, Antonio declared to all how much he had done for the youth and how little he was getting in recompense. He told how he had saved him from death, and how he had comforted him and supported him, and of how he had come to love him. "What's that to us?" grunted an officer. "The time goes by. Away." "Oh, how vile and idle proves this god!" shouted Antonio, pointing at Viola as she was borne away. "Thou hast, Sebastian, done good feature shame." And then he was gone, leaving behind him Sir Toby and Sir Andrew with a very poor opinion of Viola, who they supposed to be not only a cowardly but a monstrously ungrateful youth, and Viola with a tempest of feelings in her breast. "He named Sebastian," she breathed. Antonio had taken her for her brother. Therefore Sebastian was alive. She fled back to the Duke. All right, and take a few minutes to think about that and narrate what you have just read.